Hello again, this is Alex with MasterChartsTrading.com and this is market recap for Friday, May 28th, 2021. As always, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel and share this video with others. Again, we'll move a little bit quicker this week and we'll cover stocks as they approach new records. This is kind of useful, I think, trading psychology. I'm going to look at two different examples. One is Tupperware and the other one is Chemocentryx, and I think you should listen to them, and I think it would be helpful for any aspiring traders out there. Bear market rally in bonds continues. Gold is taking advantage of the dollar as the dollar moves lower. Oil pushes to new highs. People wanted to know something about oil. Not really much is happening there. And crypto collapse continues. We'll look at Bitcoin and Dogecoin or Dogecoin. Also, MetaTrader integration is coming, and I wanted to show you maybe later the integration is coming for my indicators. So also we're going to cover in a separate paid newsletter. I have two newsletters that are paid. One is Elite, one is Speculator. I'm going to cover all of these stocks in those separate newsletters if you are a subscriber. All right, let's get right to it. So here is S&P 500. Once again, I am using pretty much exclusively my proprietary MasterChartsTrading.com. You can see MasterChartsTrading.com price action indicators. You can see them on this chart. This is a green, blue, red, and yellow lines. What do they mean? They show support and resistance. These lines show support and resistance. And we'll look at support and resistance as a great opportunities to buy or sell. So looking at S&P 500, if we zoom back out to where we had our pandemic back in February, March of 2020, you can see there was an exit alert here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I don't really, think too much. I follow this is an algorithmic trading basically, but it is designed to be used by humans. So previous really great opportunity before that was in February 2019, and the exit alert happened in February 2020. Then we just sat and did nothing from February until April of 2020. Then in April, in fact, I can tell you exactly the date, April 29, 2020, and that's because I can see it on this chart. You can see it clearly as well. When a stock, in this case S&P 500, has closed above this blue support and resistance line. You can see it clearly on this chart. So this is a sign for me. This is a signal. And at this point, I'm going to be buying. And this is what we did. We started buying, and we're still holding it. We're holding these positions in the long-term accounts, such as retirement accounts. But overall, we're looking at record highs, and we're looking at record highs yet again. So I'm going to zoom in on current price action. This is S&P 500, and you can see that we haven't even touched the great area to buy, the blue support and resistance line, since last year. This is the last time we touched it, in June of last year. Will it happen in the future? It's possible. We don't know. Nobody really knows the future, and people who try to predict the future usually are incorrect, because there is no way to know. So what we do is we bet, or we place our we buy stock, or we sell stock, or we short stock, or we buy stock according to our probabilities. And when probabilities like this happen, for example in April, May, and June of last year, this is a high probability entry. At this point we had very low chances of stock going down, but we had a high chances of stock going up, and we did take this opportunity. So right this instant, really not much is happening as far as an opportunity. You can see that there was really nowhere to get in. Some people were able to get in September, October, and possibly in November of last year, but it is a high-risk entry. Why is it a high risk? Because if you're gonna buy it here, you're gonna need to put your stop way down there at the yellow line, because the yellow line is my trend change. So until the trend changes, there is no point being stopped out. Do you see what I'm trying to tell you? I have my stop is a trend change. So if the stock drops towards the yellow line, I would be stopped out, because by then it would be a bearish market. Okay. Obviously, we're not gonna wait that long, because if we have a profitable position, we will exit it like we did back in February 2020, and before that it was February 2019 where we entered. You see, so we're sitting in our position basically doing nothing, and it's going to new records. We're sitting very happy. Here's Dow Jones at 34,000 or so, approaching new records at 35,000. Easily we could go, even higher, obviously. Can we get a pullback? Sure, of course we can get a pullback. Once again, I'm looking more for deeper kind of pullbacks, and here was the latest opportunity. Again, it was in June of 2020. To buy Dow Jones, and until now, there's really, you can see clearly, there's really no opportunity to buy it. Same goes for Nasdaq QQQ. They're very similar, and I keep saying that the correlation. So I'm going to turn on my correlation coefficient, and so here's the correlation coefficient, and it's positive mostly. So there's a little tiny negative right there where I'm hovering in May 10th. But overall, it's positive. In other words, if S&P goes up, Nasdaq goes up as well. So we're approaching new records. I think we're going to hit them. Here's small caps IWM. There are very small differences between the S&P, Dow Jones, Nasdaq. And that sometimes helps, because we can, for example, if for Dow Jones, there was really no opportunity. Back in November 2020, for small caps, actually there was an opportunity right there on September 24th of 2020, and so that was a sweet, nice move, and we cashed in on this one. You can see it's a 60% move. So holding again, we're waiting and doing again nothing, just waiting for a good opportunity. I think new records again are very likely here. All right, junk bonds very briefly. Junk bonds are approaching new highs. They're not yet. There's not yet a new high, but it's getting close. So I'm gonna turn on the correlation coefficient, and it's a little bit less correlating to S&P 500 than, for example, Nasdaq, but again, by and large, it's quite positive. So well over 90% of the circumstances, S&P 500 and junk bonds are doing the same general thing. So I'm really hoping that we're gonna make a new high for the junk bonds, because I really want to see a confirmation of the stock market move. Oh wow, okay, so I'm gonna in just a second I'm gonna put in those tickers that I was going to discuss. So here's TLT Treasuries, broke down right there on the 6th of January. We're hearing all kinds of interesting stories about the 6th of January Capitol riot, and how some lawmakers do not want to investigate it, understandably so. Most likely because they will be found guilty. But this is a politics, and we don't talk politics about in the stock market technical analysis, because stock market technical analysis is just that. There is nothing on this chart that shows any events. You gotta understand that. You can see that there is no earnings, there is nothing here, because there is really nothing you need. You only need the price and you need my indicators. So once you have my indicators, you will have no problem making any amount of money. Okay. So as far as TLT goes, so I'm gonna turn on the future projection. Not really much you can see there and don't really line up, so I'm not gonna use them currently. But overall, we can look in the future a little bit. I just don't want to confuse you guys. This is a confusing chart. I don't want to turn it on. So I think the bonds are going to rebound, and I think we're going to continue a little bit higher. Again, this is a bear market rally because the trend is down for TLT, and so if it bounces towards the resistance, in this case red line, the resistance, we will think about selling it short or buying puts. Okay, so now I wanted to cover these two stocks, Tupperware and Chemocentryx. And so the reason why I want to cover Tupperware is I didn't really trade it, but the example is wonderful. So this is the type of breakouts that we trade in the speculator newsletter. So in the speculator newsletter, we trade exclusively breakouts. How do I know it's a breakout? So if we zoom out on this Tupperware thing, you can see it was going down forever. The last time it was, conceivably in a bull market was somewhere in the vicinity of 2018 January. So you can see it was a little bit above the blue line right there. But then it broke down, and so it broke down where I'm hovering in January of 2018. And since then, we could have shorted it, but I don't really like to short things. What I do like is I like to see a inflection point, and so it is clearly visible on this chart. There's the inflection point where I'm hovering. And so in the speculator newsletter, we look for these types of patterns. So we see a stock that was going down for a very long time. So I would consider this stock back in 2020, April, July, as being quote-unquote oversold. Definitely oversold. It's just out of favor. Nobody really cares about it. Something happened. I'm sure, we can say, maybe we can turn on the events, so we can look at earnings, and people just love earnings. So yes, there is the earnings report on which date it actually gapped up. So yes, surprise, huge surprise, 500% surprise. It started to make money. Okay, does that actually mean was this the reason for me to buy it? Absolutely not. I will turn them off and I will not look at them. They're useless. Okay. If you look at those earnings reports, you will be paralyzed because you will be just amazed at all of those different information that you can learn there. But if you look at the chart, you don't need any earnings reports. Okay, so it just gapped. You see, it gapped above the blue line. So you could have bought. I probably would have bought it right there in this vicinity, around $12. And so you can see it just went. It went 178%, you see. So this is the type of thing we need to do. We need to not think about anything, and we just need to act based on the technicals. Okay, this is a piece of advice for you, and I'm not supposed to give you advice because I'm not a registered advisor. However, I'm a technical trader, so I will give you advice on technical trading. Technical trading, only use the technical analysis, avoid everything else. Okay, so that's Tupperware. Looks beautiful, right? Chemocentryx, so I forgot the name, or rather, yeah, there it is, CCXI, the ticker symbol. So this ticker symbol okay, so back in November 2019, you can see an enormous gap. I wouldn't be buying here, no. I would be buying here in March of 2020, right there. By the way, interestingly enough, that it really didn't really react to the pandemic announcement at all. So not, you can, some stocks react, some stocks don't react. Anyway, so we're going to be buying here. Why? Isn't it obvious? The stock came down towards the support resistance blue line, but people are asking me, what is the support resistance? How do you calculate it? It's hidden, you see, the code is hidden. However, I'm letting you use the indicators. So you can buy here. It's a great opportunity to buy. In fact, you would have made good money here, probably close to 100%. Let me see how much you made. Yeah, you can see it just continued higher there. So it went as far as $69 from about 34, so it's doubled. And let's kind of zoom in and take a look at what was happening back then. So there's the exit opportunity. So I would have exited right there on 8th of March 2021, so a few weeks ago, basically, last couple of months ago. Why? Because if I had a position, I bought it well down here, I would have exited. This is my stop. I would have trailed at the blue line. I am going to trail higher, and I would have exited because that would have been my stop. However, for some reason, people do not do that, or people just ignore, systems, and they then lose money because of that. However, this right here on the 12th of April 2021, this would have been my sign to run away, and I actually went to the trouble of finding the Monty Python's movie about what is it called, the Knights, and so run away. This is the kind of thing that you don't want to be. You don't want to be a hero in this stock market game. You just want to get your money, get out, and live your life. Okay, so if you haven't exited, you need to run away at this point. Here's why. Because if we continue further, you can see what happened. It collapsed. It collapsed to $10, you see. So if you didn't heed my warnings, if you didn't heed the technical analysis, which is obvious in front of you, then you would have basically lost. If you bought it at 12, you would have already lost all the money by now. See, if you bought it at 33, it would have been a huge loss. And this is double bad. Number one, it's bad because you lost money. Number two, it's really bad for your psychology because you had your really great winning position turn into a loser. It's devastating psychologically, and people quit trading afterwards. So please don't do that. Please heed my advice, how much I can give it, and simply look at the chart, follow the directions, follow the system. All right, let's continue down. Let's look at dollar index. Here's dollar index. So dollar index collapsed back in June of 2020, and it's again approaching new lows. Here back in April, if you listen to my previous videos, I thought they were going to turn around, but it doesn't look like we're turning around, and it seems like we're going to collapse lower. So that's not great for the US dollar, obviously, but since I trade gold, here's XAUUSD, gold versus US dollar. If US dollar, the lower part of this equation, is getting weaker and getting smaller, then gold is pulling it higher. Makes perfect sense. So we're approaching again breakout levels, and this could be a huge move. I think if it closes above 1925, new highs are almost guaranteed. So yeah, let's watch for that. People were asking me about oil. not much is happening in oil. It's coming again coming up towards new records. Some people say that oil and stock market correlate highly. I find it difficult to say yes or no to that. It's not great correlation. It's kind of all over the place, really. You can kind of see it's not really a very clear correlation. So yes, oil is important. However, we are, as a humanity, as a civilization, are on the brink of some sort of a breakout with the energy technology, and I think oil will become less relevant. Not necessarily right away, but within the next few years, most likely oil will become less relevant because there will be better, cleaner technologies. Potentially there will be cars that are using oil or gasoline, but they use so little of it that we don't need, oil at $60, and most likely it will break higher. So I'm looking. I mean, I wouldn't be buying here. I want to see a pullback towards 55, the blue line, but it hasn't happened yet. So it just continues. We'll see where this goes. And the collapse in cryptos continues. So we were trading it. Here's Bitcoin back right there. Two alerts, one on April 29th, one on 11th of May 2020. This was good for 525% gain. Have you ever had a 525% gain? It went from 7,000, a little bit over 7,000 to 64,000. Okay, what's happening now? So we see that Bitcoin collapsed from 60-some-thousand to about 35. So that's already like half, basically. What's really important and worrisome is the fact that we're approaching this red line, the bearish levels. It's currently at 30,671. If it closes, this is a daily chart again. Once again, I always trade on daily charts. However, certain securities like this Bitcoin thing, you can trade on any chart. So I'm gonna show you on 4-hour chart. Here's 4-hour chart with a breakdown of Bitcoin where I'm hovering on 12th of May. At this point, you could have shorted it, and that's a nice run. So let's see if it stabilizes here. It's a weak support resistance, this yellow line. If it bounces, okay, this is a 4-hour chart, so we're looking at quite short-term time frames. If it bounces towards 42,000, I would sell it short here. Okay. Let's see where it goes, basically. Doesn't look good at all. So it's possible that this is it for cryptos, and maybe they'll go to zero and we'll all relax. Here's Dogecoin or Dogecoin. Again, I don't know what the heck it is, but it is tradable. You see, it's not. I would never invest. Well, I would never invest really in anything. I would trade things, and I would trade this Doge thing. I wouldn't invest in it. So, you could buy it. You could have bought it basically, anywhere. For example, right there, February 6th, and then put your stop at the red line, and you just ride this up higher. At this point, I do not want to be buying it. In fact, it's really getting close. So this red line is at 0.27901, right there where I'm hovering. If it closes below that line, 0.27901, okay, it is likely going to collapse. I don't know how far, possibly to zero. It's also entirely possible. But at the very least, I'm looking at this. So at the yellow line. So easily 50-60% down, So all of this cryptos, all of this tradable securities, you gotta be super careful. Do not confuse trading and investing. This is a big difference. Okay, if you have any questions, please ask me. All right, so let's go ahead and head over to MasterChartsTrading.com. That's one word, MasterChartsTrading.com. Click on products and select one of the products that I have. I have actually several products, and the most important one is of course the trading indicators. So the trading indicators are these lines, the green, blue, red, and yellow lines, and you can make tons of money on them, seriously. You just need to learn how, and it's really easy. The entire system is like it can be explained in 5 minutes. So the trading indicators, you get a free trial. There's also, I have 2 newsletters. So the newsletters are the Elite and the Speculator, and we cover all of the stocks and we trade all of the stocks. So this is indicators and newsletter. You have the Ultimate Bundle, where you also get the stock screener, which is a basic stock screener. You can also upgrade it to the advanced stock screener. So this advanced stock screener is super cool, and you can also scan the entire universe of stocks, and these are all the lists that you can scan. My favorite list, as I already said, is all stocks with options, and this is pretty much what I use for the Speculator newsletter, and that's why we have all of this really cool interesting stocks that are really breaking out, and sometimes they go hundreds of % higher. So head over to Master Charts Trading, sign up, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Again, thanks for watching, and have another great trading week. Bye bye.